My name is Angela.
And my name is Nicole.
And welcome to the Ominous Stitch podcast. Welcome.
Hey, everybody.
We are so excited to have you guys back for another week with us.
Yes. And this is a special week because we're going to be covering back to school.
Back to school. It is back to school time. How many moms are out there celebrating and counting down the days until the kids go back to school?
And we are.
We are? Yeah, at least these two moms are here.
These two moms. And everybody has different days. I know like the Midwest, they go like really early. Like,
oh, do they?
Yes.
Yeah.
They're like August, like first week of August.
Oh, wow.
And then
some go back in September.
Some in September, some mid-August.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's around that time.
It is around that time, people. Get your kids back in school and then settle down with that nice big cup of coffee.
Yes.
I won't judge you if it's spiked a little bit. You deserve it.
Or if you have 2 or 3 of them.
Watch whatever TV programming you want to watch. Listen to whatever you want to listen to.
Yes, those podcasts.
Oh, I can't wait.
I'm excited.
It's coming so soon. Oh, I can feel it. Nicole.
Yes.
What has you in stitches this week?
No, you're going to go first.
Oh, okay. What has me in stitches this week? Okay. This is something that I know a lot of you out there can relate to. Raise your hand if you have insomnia. I do.
I'm half there.
You're half there. I cannot sleep past 3:30 in the morning.
Her body is tuned to it now.
I don't know what's going on. It started off with my dog licking.
No.
She just licks. And then,
dog.
or she'll drink water insanely loud in my room.
It wakes you up?
Just
it's in your
loud.
room.
Yeah, it's in my room
Why
right
do you
now.
have a water bowl in your room?
Well, because we've been doing construction in
right.
the kitchen, so we had to move all the food bowls upstairs because normally all of her stuff is in the kitchen. And so she is just loud and it
Super
wakes
duper
me up.
loud.
And then she'll start whining because she's like, oh, I can tell you're awake.
Yep.
Let me go outside. And I'm like, no. Or the cat will jump on me.
The animals are ready to go.
The other morning, this is my favorite one. I got a text from Miss Nicole over here.
Yes.
In the morning. And she's like, oh my gosh, I was up at 3:30. And I was like, me too.
Yeah.
Our bladders were full, so we both had to go pee at 3:30 in the morning.
Our bodies are in sync of going to the restroom.
Oh my gosh, we're like, pee pals, 3
Yeah,
a.m.
pee pals. Well, I texted her. I was like, hey, how are you doing? How are you feeling? And, because we've been going through a lot. And then, she's telling Philomena and she's like, how are you? I'm like, yeah, I was up at 3:30. And she's like, me too. So I think that's our stitch for both of us this week, our stitches.
Not getting enough sleep, that elusive sleep.
It's the worst.
It has been the theme of my entire adult life. Just never enough sleep.
I wish I could get
I used to sleep like a champ when I was a teenager. Before
BK.
kids, BK. Mm-hmm. I remember going on car trips. I played volleyball, and so we'd always travel every other weekend to different cities around Texas. That's where I grew up. To go to a different volleyball tournament, I would sleep the entire way.
Me too. On buses?
12 hours, 10 hours sleep. Wake up, eat dinner, and go back to sleep for the entire night again.
That's so nice, isn't it?
That's like my fantasy now. I want to have that much sleep. But my body's like, no,
nope,
your brain is like, you have so much to think about. Let's do it now.
What's funny is for me, going to sleep, I have that like brain that just won't stop thinking. It's like one thought after another or all at once.
Yes.
It just won't shut off.
Yes.
So I have to listen to podcasts when I sleep because that helps me tune into something and then it helps me fall asleep.
Yeah, because you're not listening to your brain yell 85,000 things at the same time.
No, my brain's mean.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
why? Why? I think I'm nice to my brain. Why does it not let me
Doesn't
sleep?
like you? Like you're getting older?
I'm like, you will feel so much better if you just let me sleep.
Yep. Right? Your body will function better.
Maybe someday, right? You can always hope.
When they're out of the house and then you're going to be like, it's too quiet.
It's too quiet.
And then you won't sleep because of that.
It'll be like the commercials
in
the 90s, late 80s, early 90s. It's 11 p.m. Are your kids at home?
Oh, no.
Or do you know where your children are?
I remember that.
Oh man. Well, we have an awesome episode for you guys today. I'm so excited.
Me too. Like
College
we said.
week.
Yes. So back to school means we're going to go into haunted colleges.
Haunted colleges.
Yeah, we thought this was fitting. And so for our crochet project.
Oh, our crochet project, you guys, this is going to be fun. I'm not actually going to be teaching you a stitch, but I'm going to be teaching you a crochet style.
This is amazing because it's very similar to cross stitch, right?
I know. Nicole's mind blew when I showed it to her. I was like, oh, we're going to learn about Graphigans.
Graphigans.
Because then we can do the college crests and Graphigans. So are we ready to dive in?
I'm so ready.
Let's get stitching. Well, it's time for college week.
Woo-hoo.
I'm so excited. Everybody sing your alma mater tune. Do you know it?
I do because I had to sing it every rehearsal. I was in marching band.
We are musicians,
Yes.
so of course we would have to
No.
sing and perform
Yep.
our college
Our college.
alma maters.
Yes,
Is
alma
that what they're
maters.
called? Yeah. Oh goodness. Oh, I have a quick story before we dive into the stitch.
Okay.
So I got my master's degree at USC, and one of my classrooms was over by the practice field where the marching band would practice.
Nice.
And they would play the dun 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 dun
Yep.
dun, the most boring song
Dun,
ever
dun, 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 dun,
for
dun,
the
dun.
entire class.
What?
The entire class, they
Why?
would practice just that. I don't know. It had to be perfect.
Crazy.
It was insane. The entire semester they had that class, and that was a 2-hour long class. They may have played other things, but definitely they played
Okay.
that the majority of the time.
Can I tell you something funny?
Yes.
So I went to the University of Washington.
Yeah, you did.
And we didn't like SUC, as we called you guys.
SUC.
SUC.
Nobody does.
No.
Unless you go to school
Unless
there.
you go to USC. So we learned that tune.
Oh, you
and
did?
then what we do to make fun of it is we go down a half step every time.
Oh, that's so funny.
And it makes it sound terrible.
it
and then
does,
it goes,
yeah.
and then it just keeps going down and down and down, and it
Yeah.
makes it sound gross.
Oh,
So
it does. It's terrible. Well, I mean, it's terrible. I would sit there in class and go, I'm going to back up my mic because so I don't pop it.
Nice.
Dun, 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 dun.
I
You
love
get
it.
so tired of it.
I love it.
Okay, let's talk about Graphigans.
Yes, Graphigans.
Okay, when I showed Nicole what a Graphigan was, her mind blew, like
my
I said
gosh.
earlier, because
so cool.
she's like, this is exactly like cross stitch. I'm
Yes.
like, yes, it is, because you are literally following a graph. And you can use whatever kind of stitch you want as long as you're consistent. I like to use a double crochet because you just get to the length of the blanket quicker.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But a lot of people like to use a single crochet.
That's even faster though, right?
Well, a single crochet makes it a neater transition when you're changing colors. So you
Okay.
can do, like, if you have a curve in the design, you can do that a little bit
I see. It's
easier.
smaller.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's smaller than if you use a double crochet.
Got it.
But you can use whatever stitch you want in a Graphigan, and you can make this in a multiple of way. I use a traditional back and front, you know, when you're turning your work over to do mine, but a lot of people will do a corner to corner blanket, which I don't know how to do. So that's something that we can
Ooh.
maybe explore at some point,
Yes,
how to
I
make
love
a
that.
corner to corner blanket. But you can use this technique in a myriad of styles. So a Graphigan is basically, you take a grid pattern. So again, this is a lot like cross stitch, people. You take a grid pattern and you plot out
Where everything
where
is.
everything is, and then you just follow the grid.
That's
so
so
you change
cool.
colors when it's time to change colors, and then it turns out into whatever picture you want to
Just
create.
like cross stitching.
Just like cross stitching.
So neat. Hey, did you know that Angela, I go, hey, we're going to do that, right? And she goes, oh, let me go upstairs real quick. And she comes back down. She goes, this is my first blanket. You guys, I'm going to post a photo.
Okay.
She made the coolest cat blanket with this graphic.
My youngest daughter loves cats.
Yeah, it's amazing. She's like, this is my first blanket. I'm like, what?
Yeah, I had
How?
about 14 colors going at the same time. So a little tip that I discovered, because one of the trickier things is keeping your colors straight,
Right.
because you do drop the color and then pick it back up when you turn it. So you aren't constantly cutting the color every time you change. You just leave it and then you pick it back up when you get to that spot again when you turn the blanket.
Okay.
So to keep my colors straight, I have this crate that has a bunch of holes that kind of look like eyelets. I picked it up at Target.
I was going to say, where'd you get it?
$10.
Target.
Target, everything.
Yes.
So it's this crate that has a bunch of holes in it. I think it has like 12 holes. And I think at one point I had like 14 colors going at the same time. So I would just pull the strings through the holes, so it worked as like a little eyelet system, and then it would stay straight.
That is the smartest thing ever.
That took a while for me to figure out. I was going nuts, just like trading my yarn back and forth and everything getting all tangled up. So that's a little tip. Find yourself some kind of system where you have an eyelet and you're threading your yarn that way. Box with holes.
I bet you can, even if you didn't want to, you had to save money. If you had a cardboard box around, you could probably cut little holes in it.
Oh, that's so smart.
Right? And then you can even make them small so that you wouldn't be like.
You're so smart. You could do even more.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that. Nicole is so smart, you guys.
Try to be as thrifty as possible, right?
I love it. Yeah, so you can definitely do that.
Okay. So today's Graphigan.
So today's Graphigan. So I'm going to tell you about a couple of websites that I used because you can make your own graph. So if you're not good at freehanding and taking a piece of graph paper and then plugging in colors and making it look like Minecraft something.
Excel file.
There are an Excel file, exactly. There are a couple of websites that you can use. And so I'm going to talk about two websites that I used to make this college Graphigan. We can post a picture of what we came up with, the concept of this blanket. We're using the 4 crests of the 4 schools that we're going to be talking about.
Our college, haunted colleges one.
Our haunted colleges blanket.
One, because
blanket one. Ooh.
We may be getting to more haunted colleges.
I'm so excited.
Yeah, there's just so many.
Yes, there are. And we have stories for a lot of them.
Yes.
Okay. So I used a website called Canva, Canva, canva.com. And on Canva, you can create picture collages. So I took logos from each of the 4 schools that we're going to be talking about first, and I just did a collage with them so that they were all on the same page. And then I went over to this other website called Stitch Fiddle.
Stitch Fiddle.
And what Stitch Fiddle does is you can upload whatever image you want and it graphs it for you.
So this is almost like if you wanted to do cross stitch, but you'd have to do your own coloring system probably.
Right.
But that's still really neat.
Yes. And it gets quite detailed, you guys. Mm-hmm. But it's a pretty cool.
She's showing me there's so many squares.
So many squares. And you can make this however you want. So with this size of a blanket, I would probably have each square be 1 stitch. Yeah. A lot of times the squares are, 2 to 4 stitches, depending upon, how big or how small, whatever your scale is. But Stitch Fiddle and Canva, those are the 2 websites that I used to create our design.
That is so neat.
It's so cool. So go out there, find some Graphigans, explore that world. It is so much fun.
I want to do this when I have the time. I have a million projects I want to do.
You need 8 more hours every day.
8 more hours.
Every day. So that's it for our stitching.
Easy.
Yeah.
I love it.
So that means it's time for story time.
Story time. All right, story time, everybody.
I'm so excited.
So it's funny because I have my notes on my Mac and Angela can see it. And so what I did was I inserted some photos so she can see what I'm talking about on a couple of these.
Well, okay, I know where we're going first.
You do know where you're going. You don't know where we're going for the rest, except, you know the last one as well.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but the first one.
We
are staying local and we are going to California State University, Channel Islands.
Sisaki. I know that's not what, I know people call it sea sushi.
Because of the CI.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I just say CSUCI. I'm lame. Anyway, so let's dive in to the background of CSUCI. Now, before it was a university.
Yes.
It was the Camarillo State Mental Hospital.
Welcome to the Hotel California.
So, I read about that.
Yes.
They said that's not true. But
what?
The Eagles, they said that song is definitely not, but speculation
is legend.
Yeah.
That's the legend. Okay, so the legend is Hotel California is written about this insane asylum.
Yes. That's
or mental hospital.
Mental hospital.
You say it right. Mental hospital.
Yeah, it's referred to both in that way. Okay, so now the Camarillo State Mental Hospital in Camarillo, California, operated from 1936 to 1997. Now, in 1957, the patient population reached its peak, exceeding 7,000 patients, the largest population that the hospital would see in its 60 years of existence.
Oh my gosh!
Yes,
7,000 people.
7,000 patients. And apparently this was the largest, it is, well, I guess it's not anymore, but the largest psychiatric hospital in the West.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
So I've been by it before it was Cal State Channel Islands. Yes.
Did you go when it was the hospital or right in between?
When it was kind of dilapidated. So
Okay.
it was between. It was before it was purchased to
Yeah.
be the university, and driven by it quite a few times.
Okay.
And it was scary. Like it looks,
about
it looked
it.
like a very dilapidated, but
Yeah.
7,000, I can't
one
imagine
point.
it having that many.
It
Patience.
had its own like everything. It had its own like dairy barn. It had its own like bowling alley. It was like a little community.
Yeah.
It didn't have to go anywhere.
Well, because it is in the middle of nowhere in
Right.
Camarillo. So Camarillo has they grow a lot of strawberries, but it's definitely a big farming community.
Right,
So
right.
lots and lots of pasture land. There is a lot of land surrounding that. So I could imagine.
It's just its own sustainable
Yeah.
area. Yeah. Now, at first, it was a hospital that served mental illnesses such as schizophrenia and manic depression. But in 1967, it widened its reach to include a center for clients with developmental disabilities such as organic brain disease, autism, and other birth defects. Then in the 1990s, the state decided to stop funding the hospital because there weren't as many patients and the costs were rising. And basically, patients thought they would receive better and cheaper care in group homes and community clinics than the larger institution. So they were leaving.
Yep.
In 1996, they only had 871 patients.
Oh, wow.
So you see that big drop.
Yeah.
Right? June 1997, the hospital shut down. And then in 2002, just 5 years later, California State University Channel Islands opened on the hospital grounds itself.
Yay.
Now, most buildings are now being used for the campus. However, there are still some abandoned buildings.
Yes, there are.
That's so crazy to me. Like, why would you leave abandoned areas? You just knock
They
it
don't
down.
need them yet. Yeah, they should
Knock
it
them down and
But
build something else. But
they convert a lot of those buildings. So I
Sure.
think they're just holding on to it.
But that's so
to convert it.
creepy.
Yeah. Okay. I don't know if I'm kind of waiting to hold on to the stories
Okay.
because I definitely know people that have been there in the first class.
Oh, yeah.
Anybody listening to us has been to Cal State Channel Islands. First of all, I'm sorry for calling it Seasucky, but
That's just how you've known it, right?
that's just how it was taught to me by people in that first
Okay.
class
Oh,
because
okay.
they were
They're the ones that-
terrified.
Really?
It was so scary. I can't tell you every single person that I met that went
Yeah.
there has a ghost story. They
Did
have
not know
seen
that.
ghosts.
Okay, well you're gonna tell
Very
us.
active.
Okay, you tell
Yes.
us what they saw, and I'll give you what I have.
Okay.
Okay. We'll trade stories.
We'll wait.
Yes.
I'm like at the edge of my
She's
seat.
so excited.
I know.
The biggest rumor, which I don't know if it's true or not, is that the morgue from the hospital still sits under the library.
Yes.
Or that the library was built over it.
Yes. I've heard that
You've heard
too.
that?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I don't know for sure if it's still there because creepyla.com mentioned the library closing, and that article was written in 2011.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I don't know for sure. Now, a quick mention of craziness. I even wrote that in my notes.
Okay.
The book Keeper of the Keys was published in 1976, and it is basically a diary of one of the nurses at the hospital. Yeah. She wrote about the inhumane practices at the hospital, such as ignoring patients experiencing seizures, rape and physical abuse of the patients, and all around abuse and neglect of the patients. And the book basically caused a grand jury investigation of the hospital. So that probably didn't help it when it had to close down.
Nope.
Crazy, right?
Yeah.
Now, a lot of different paranormal phenomenon
Yay.
has been reported across this campus. Now, this one I loved so much.
Okay.
I'm a saxophonist.
Yes,
Right?
yes, you are.
Okay. Charlie Parker.
Charlie Parker.
Famous jazz saxophonist.
Yes.
And I played his music all the time when I was a kid. This story comes from weirdca.com. Now, as most people know, if they've done any research into Charlie Parker, he had a huge drug and alcohol problem, like most old musicians did.
Yeah.
In June 1946, he made a grand entrance into the Hollywood Hotel lobby, I believe, playing his saxophone, but completely nude.
Wow.
Okay.
What an entrance.
Having some fun.
That's amazing.
Amazing.
Take a stitch.
He was told to go back to his room where he lit a cigarette, fell asleep, and then set his bed on fire.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Mr. Parker.
Yes, he had some downtimes. So he was sent to the Camarillo State Mental Hospital and stayed there for 6 months between 1946 to 1947. And when he was released, he recorded Relaxin' at the Camarillo.
Oh.
Right? Yeah. And I was like, oh, duh. And I put that in my notes. I had to play that in high school. But they say Parker roams the halls of CSUCI late at night and they hear him playing his saxophone, which I want to go now
Nicole,
just to experience
you
that.
have to go.
I want to go.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That would be so awesome.
Right? First coolest ghost story. I was like, this is amazing. Take a stitch.
Take a stitch.
All right. Now, I'm just going to kind of give you a list of the other phenomenon, and then I'm sure Miss Angela can chime in.
Okay.
Here's the list. So we've got ghostly children have been heard laughing, but there's no children in sight.
Absolutely. That is definitely one of the reports
All
that I
right.
heard.
Objects mysteriously thrown at people.
Yes.
Poltergeists.
Yes.
Okay. Oh,
yes.
she's got it. Okay.
Yes.
Doors slamming shut on people and also mysteriously opened.
Locking. Oh, opening. I've
Yeah.
also heard locking.
Oh, that's
Yes.
even creepier.
Yes.
Okay.
Locking them in a certain section of.
Really?
Yes.
Where?
In the dorms.
Just locking them in their room?
No, not in their room, but like locking a hallway. So they
Oh.
can't leave that hallway.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
That's creepy. Phantom mists that ignore the wind are seen moving around campus at night. Sounds of scratching on the walls.
Yes,
Which
I've
could
heard
be
that one.
rats, right?
It could.
I don't know. That one I feel like could be debunked. And then photos have been taken in the abandoned buildings and they see faces staring back at them.
Oh.
Yeah.
I haven't heard about faces. I've heard about handprints.
Ooh.
Handprints showing up on walls.
Okay.
Yeah.
That would make sense to
Yeah.
me. Yeah. In the bell tower, a man appears in one of the stalls of the women's restroom and you can see his legs under the door. But when you open the door, he disappears.
Oh,
like, what?
That's creepy.
I would run.
Oh, yeah.
Use the bathroom and run.
Yeah. I would become toilet shy super fast.
Yes.
And then
I would never even go in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
There's a ghostly janitor that haunts the school, and you can hear his keys jingling if he's close. Yeah. A woman in white, who is supposedly an old nurse, roams the bell tower's hallways. She disappears as soon as you approach her.
Oh, wow.
And now what's crazy, that's, I think, my paranormal experiences, but what's crazy, The Ring was filmed here. Did you know that?
No.
Yes. Parts of the campus, The Ring was filmed. And
wow.
there's even a well.
Oh my gosh.
showing
She's
her the
showing me the
photo.
picture of the well. Oh, I have chills everywhere right now. That's so crazy.
Yeah, so I've seen on a couple like stories of Reddit, I think, that some people would like take a hike to the well because the well's a little bit off of the campus, a little up on a hill.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's just spooky as all F.
It is so spooky, you guys. Oh my gosh.
So CSUCI,
Yes. If you've been there or you have stories, we want to know.
please.
Oh my gosh.
I would love them. So do you have any other stories?
No,
besides
you
those?
pretty much
Did I hit them?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I don't remember what dorm it was, but the stories that I heard from this one person in particular, they were saying the dorm that they lived in was where patients used to live.
Oh,
because rooms.
Yeah.
So it was an easy thing
For
to
the
convert.
dorms. Oh
Yeah.
my gosh, I could not stay there.
Yeah, so that was one of the wings of the hospitals. There's just converted rooms, and they use those as the college rooms. And so they would hear children laughing, a lot of children laughing, doors getting locked
Oh my gosh.
in the hallway, so they couldn't get past them, handprints on
Yeah.
walls, and things being like their books being thrown.
Yeah.
Yeah, so lots of that kind of a thing.
I could not stay in that dorm, Angela. I'd be
Right?
like, I need to move, please.
Right?
Send me off campus.
Right? Oh, because the ghosts there were not happy about
No, I
students
bet.
moving in and
Sure.
invading their territory. Yeah.
That's where they lived probably for most of their time.
Well,
in
yeah,
their life.
and taking a mental institution and ghosts that are disturbed. And, you know, they carry on the same characteristics that they had in the afterlife, right? And then adding a bunch of college kids.
Oh, and that energy.
That is a crazy mix of energy to add together. So, yeah, the hauntings are strong.
Yep.
Yeah.
Now, you know what's fun?
What?
Our next trip.
Where are we going?
University.
Where are we going?
Has to do with another mental asylum.
Oh, no.
There's a theme.
Stop doing that, people.
I can't. I mean,
let's not build our universities on mental asylums.
Yes.
I understand that, you know, like, oh, hey, they have
Extra
lots
space.
of rooms for, you know, dormitories. People can stay here. Oh, look, we have big rooms for classrooms. And no, stop it. That is crazy energies to mix together.
Well,
where are we going?
We're going to Ohio now.
Ohio.
Now, this isn't exactly built on an institute, but let me go into the details. So if you've done any research on haunted universities, oh my gosh, Ohio University in Athens is probably at the top of almost all the lists. This was crazy.
Okay.
Now, just like CSU Channel Islands, a part of Ohio University's campus was known as the Ridges, aka the Athens Lunatic Asylum.
Oh,
yes.
No.
Now, this mental hospital was in operation from 1874 to 1993 and provided services to a variety of patients, including Civil War veterans, children, or the mentally unwell.
Oh, wow. That's quite a range.
Yes. And I'm going to go into some really insane things that I had to point out. So this hospital was best known for the infamous lobotomy procedure. Yeah.
Oh, no.
And fun fact, the first patient was a 14-year-old girl with epilepsy thought to be possessed by the demon.
Oh, no.
So they didn't even know about, you know, epilepsy and treatments and things.
Girl.
Yeah. And now get this, Angela. Ailments such as menopause were caused for enrollment in the hospital.
Oh, my gosh.
I knew this would get her.
Ugh.
And one of the leading causes of insanity for women at that time, menstrual derangements. 29 women were patients because of this.
Okay, if you guys could see me, my face is green with disgust. I am so mad at that. Oh my gosh.
Isn't that crazy? Women were looked at as like aliens back then because we had such
men are idiots and they don't understand what
Not
happens
all men.
to
We
a
love
woman.
men, but
yes.
Back then, it was quite a fiasco for women, unfortunately.
Oh my god.
It still is actually getting our rights taken away, but that's another story in another podcast.
Yeah. We're trying to keep it light and user friendly here.
Right. But I had to point that out because that was a crazy detail to me.
So upsetting.
Yeah. Now,
she literally wrote WTF in her notes.
I had to. Okay. Ohio University, though, is the 9th oldest public university in the country, founded in 1804, but opened in 1808 with 1 building, 3 students, and 1 professor.
Oh.
So very, very
tiny.
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 Yes. And in 1993, the Ridges were purchased by OU and is now the Kennedy Museum of Art, an auditorium, and many offices, classrooms, and storage facilities.
Okay, let's put the artist in the loony bin.
Yep, because they have the same energies, right?
Oh, no.
Oh, great. So now, a pretty creepy fact about the Ridges. Okay, so this is you can find in every story about Ohio University and the Ridges. In 1978, Margaret Schilling was a patient at the Athens Lunatic Asylum. She was deaf and mute, and when committed, she was a 53-year-old married mother, but that's all we know about her.
Why would she be committed at 53? Obviously,
she was a mom.
She was able to have a successful life of some sort to be a mom and have children. And
no idea.
Oh,
there's no other records
so
about her,
crazy.
Unfortunately.
Okay. Yeah. Poor Margaret.
Poor Margaret. December 1st, 1978, she was reported missing.
Uh-oh.
So a lot of the patients, though, they knew would wander into the woods because it was kind of a woodsy area.
Into the woods, it's time to go. It may be all in vain, I know. Okay, sorry.
Good reference.
Thanks.
So they would wander into the woods and they would be found later eventually, but they could not find a trace of Margaret. So then January 12th, 1979 rolls around. She was found in a room that was barely used.
Oh, no.
Yes. Her clothes were neatly folded next to her body. And doctors believe she died of heart failure because of the really, really cold conditions.
Oh,
she just laid there.
Margaret.
Yeah. Now, what's creepy is her corpse left a permanent stain on the cement. Yes.
Oh, no.
And in 2007, investigations were completed. And the conclusion of the investigation said it was the process of adipocere. I can't even say it. Adipocere. I'm going to say that. Adipocere. Okay. Which is when a grayish waxy substance is formed by the decomposition of soft tissue in dead bodies subjected to moisture. So there it is.
Oh my gosh, you guys. That's
I'm showing
insane.
her a photo.
It looks like, it kind of looks like the statue of Venus because
it does,
no arms.
Yeah.
But it's definitely a person, like a woman.
Yep.
It's a woman shape.
It's a woman shape for sure. She's got curves.
Oh,
And the photo I took,
wow.
it was from the investigators, this scientific, and I can
And
put the
it's
link in
still
it.
there.
But yeah, they took the sampling points, they show it, and they measure it, and they show you what they're looking at. And it's still there to this day.
Wow.
In 2020, Preservation Works Company was still trying to figure out if they were going to provide public access to viewing the body because people keep trying to go find it.
Yeah.
But for now, I believe it still sits in an unknown location.
Oh my gosh. Talk about leaving your mark on the world.
Right? Hey-oh! She just hit me. Oh, man.
It's not
she
a
thinks
joke,
she's funny.
but oh my gosh.
It is a good joke in a way, but yes. It's crazy. So there's no real paranormal experiences linked to this stain. It's just a very morbid fact about the asylum or the Ridges or now Ohio University. Now on to the paranormal accounts.
Okay.
Ohio University is the only known college that has a sealed off dorm room.
What?
Yes. Now here are the reports. In the 1970s, a male student supposedly died in room 428 in Wilson Hall of unusual circumstances. That's all I got. No idea.
Oh my gosh.
No idea. This is speculation too.
Right.
Now, after this, students reported paranormal phenomenon. Not exactly what they mentioned what it was, but there were some things going on. But then a female student lived in the room, and it said she dabbled in the occult. But all sites, I don't know if that's true, but all sites do claim she practiced astral projection.
Oh.
Yeah, they said that she tried to use and harness the energy of that room to project herself. She eventually took her own life in the room.
Oh no.
Oh no. College times, man.
2 deaths in the same room.
2 deaths in the same room. So definitely after her death, students would report objects flying across the room, whispers that turned into shouting, and doors opening and slamming. At first, the university ignored the reports from the students, but then demonic faces kept appearing on the door.
What?
Scratched angrily into the grain of the wood.
What?
So they're like, maybe it's vandalism, right? They talked about it. And they replaced the door.
Right.
But every time the door was changed, the same tortured faces would immediately appear.
And there were different people living in there?
I don't know.
Okay.
Probably.
That's creepy.
Eventually, the university declared the room, quote unquote, uninhabitable, and they sealed its door.
Is there still a face on the door?
No.
So once they sealed it, the faces stopped.
Yeah. And currently, students are still declaring they hear footsteps coming from inside the room at night. Now, in the same hall, a recent article from an op-ed in the college stated a journalism student that lived on the 3rd floor, so right below it, had 2 mirrors fly off the wall and land in the middle of the room, both shattering to pieces.
Oh my gosh,
There's
that's dangerous.
Photos of it too. They took photos of it where it landed.
Ooh.
She also had a math book fly right at her from her dresser drawer a week after the mirror incident.
Oh my gosh.
Then a string of lights that had no batteries yet turned on and it went through the pre-programmed cycle.
Wow. We're getting into
Lastly,
like Stranger Things season 1.
yes, we are. Now, lastly, she mentioned seeing a brunette girl passing by her door, but when she got up to look for her, no one was in the hall and said she would have had to miss her if she was running, but she wasn't. So it could have been her. Could have been that 428 girl.
Yeah, astral projection.
Yeah, there you
Yeah.
go.
Wow.
Now, this is the fun part. And I stuck a photo in here and she can tell me if Angela thinks it's true.
Okay.
Okay. Now, rumor is that Wilson Hall that dorm is also built on an Indian burial ground.
Oh, don't do that. Bad juju.
Bad juju. That's just a rumor. The other rumor is that it is actually built over an old cemetery of the Athens Lunatic Asylum, which is more believable.
Yeah.
but I don't know.
Oh, no.
Now, what's pretty crazy though, okay, there's a claim that Wilson Hall is so haunted because the surrounding area of Athens, there are haunted cemeteries.
Right.
And in the middle of it is Wilson Hall, and the shape creates kind of a pentagram. So what I did, I was like, I'm going to test this out. So someone listed all the haunted cemeteries. So I pinpointed them on a map.
Yes.
And then
looking at the map.
I put Wilson Hall. So Wilson Hall, see this? There's this red dot.
Yes.
And see, kind of, it makes a star. Do you think it's far-fetched?
It can be a star. It's not centered in the middle of the star. But,
No.
I mean, it is kind of in the middle-ish. So she has, did you draw the blue lines or did it do that?
So I mapped it as if I were taking directions to each one.
Oh, okay.
So those are roads. So you can't I think you can't just, this is driving.
Right.
So these are roads trying to get to each cemetery.
Because the roads make it look like a wonky, I don't know, duck flying or something.
Yeah, I can see that. But I think, if you wanted to connect.
If you wanted to connect with the dots, you could make it a star. Wilson Hall isn't in the center of it, but it is in the middle of it.
It's pretty close in the middle.
So, sure.
Grain of salt.
Yeah.
But that was pretty neat, though.
It's a neat antidote
to saying why Wilson Hall is so haunted.
Yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, I'll put that on our social media because I thought that was really fun.
You decide, people.
Yeah.
Does it look like a star?
Yes. I don't know. I don't know. You tell me, everybody. Okay.
Or a tortured flying duck.
It kind of is. Yeah. Sad duck. Now, it took a solid 20 minutes. I had a lunch break when I was doing some research.
Yes.
20 minutes researching Washington Hall because it is rumored that this dormitory is haunted by an entire basketball team of high school girls that were visiting the university prior to a fatal bus crash.
Oh, no.
I could not find anything about this at all. I found a baseball team. There's a lot of this is sad. This baseball team all, had a bus accident as well, a few fatalities. But I really couldn't find anything where a high school visited Ohio University.
Yeah.
So if anybody has an actual article about this,
send it our way.
Send it to us because then I will believe it. Because the rumors is that in Washington Hall, students report hearing female giggles, several feet running, and bouncing basketballs in the distance.
Oh, okay.
So they're all relating it to them. But
yes.
I don't know what happened.
Urban legend.
Urban legend, yeah. But yeah, if you have any proof, send it our way.
Yes, please. At theominousstitch@gmail.com.
Get it, Angela. My last story about Ohio University.
Okay.
The Sigma Phi Epsilon fraternity home claims that they are haunted by an old ghost named Nicodemus.
Nicodemus.
Yes. Now, the story is that the Sigma Phi Epsilon house is a really, really old home that served as a stop in the Underground Railroad.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. Someone leaked that the house was housing slaves at one point, so town citizens up and raided the home. But one slave was only there and hiding in the secret passageway. When he heard the citizens, he tried hiding in the basement, but he was still found.
Oh, no.
Yep, they grabbed him, captured him, shot him dead,
and
dragged him out of the house. Now, it's definitely a legend as there is no concrete evidence to this ever happening, but professors, they were being interviewed and they said it was plausible as the home does coincide with the Underground Railroad route. So it could have happened.
It's cool that if it is a piece of the Underground Railroad and it has that history, that's awesome.
Right?
Shooting Nicodemus.
Poor Nicodemus.
Not cool.
No, not cool at all. Now, before it was Sigma Phi Epsilon in the 70s, it was the Zeta Tau Alpha sorority. And there were claims of whining, scratching noises coming from the closet where the sealed off secret passage is.
Ooh.
Doors would fly open, and even some girls claimed to being touched by invisible hands.
Ooh, Nicodemus.
Nicodemus.
Come on, don't touch girls. That's not cool.
No, not cool at all.
Or boys. Don't touch
anybody. Now, as the fraternity, a sophomore sleeping in a loft bed had his bed sheets pulled off of him several times that night that he reported this when no one was in the room with him.
Ooh.
And they still experience paranormal activity, but they don't feel like he's a threatening presence.
He just likes to pull pranks.
Yeah, he's there to go, hey, I'm here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's participating in the frat life.
There you go.
Yeah.
He's seeing everybody else doing it, right?
Yeah.
Why can't I?
I'm going to pull frat pranks.
Frat pranks.
Frat pranks. That's hard to say.
It is. I was going to say. It's like a tongue twister.
Yeah.
Several other fraternities and sororities report ghostly experiences as well, but that was just kind of thrown in there. So there's Ohio University.
Ohio University. Oh, why, did I ever leave Ohio? Do you know what that's from?
No.
Back to the Beach, starring Frankie Avalon and Annette Funicello.
Random facts, everybody. I had no idea.
Oh, man. You know, things from the 80s that stay in your head. Or
That's so
90s.
cute.
I don't know when they
Was
made
it
that.
90s?
The early 90s.
Okay. I love the early 90s.
It was.
All right. On to Gettysburg College.
Gettysburg. Oh.
Yes. You got to
I feel
know
some
Gettysburg
Civil War
is
stuff popping up.
Oh,
Yep.
for sure.
Yeah.
If you do any kind of paranormal research, Gettysburg is going to be at the top of the list because of the Civil War.
Yeah.
And I want to go there one day. I want to do a road trip across the USA.
That would be awesome.
I want to go there and check that out.
Yes, I would too. I haven't really been that much to the East Coast.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. So I would love to do that. That
Never
would be
been
cool.
to Pennsylvania for sure. I've been to Boston, obviously, for grad school. I went to New York, been to Connecticut, been to Rhode Island, just like that little strip, nowhere else.
I've been to New York.
That's it.
That's it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's go take a trip.
Okay.
All right. Gettysburg College. Now, this is taken from the college site itself. Gettysburg College was founded in 1832 as Pennsylvania College, renamed Gettysburg College in 1921 as a Lutheran college by local community members to create a college where students could get a good education in order to be good citizens and religious men.
Oh, yes. Men. Yes.
Yeah, that was the theme back then.
That was the time, yeah.
But when it opened, the college only had 3 buildings. Here's my quick history recount.
Okay.
Because I thought this was so fascinating.
All right,
but it's
I'm excited.
totally part of the paranormal experiences. 1861. Dark times in the U.S. as the Civil War started between the Union and the Confederacy, which lasted 4 years. Now, in the middle of the battle, in summer of 1863, General Lee of the Confederacy decided to secretly move north to move the battle out of Virginia. They made it to Gettysburg, Pennsylvania, and the Union Army was already there setting up a barricade. Thus, the Battle of Gettysburg exploded between July 1st and July 3rd. And that last day was known as the bloodiest day of the war. Mm-hmm. The Battle of Gettysburg resulted in an estimated 46,000 to 51,000 casualties.
Oh, my gosh.
That's a lot. And roughly 8,900 men were killed.
Oh, my gosh.
Crazy. Now, here is where we start to discuss Gettysburg College. When the troops were moving into Gettysburg, roughly 100 students were attending, and the students were awesome. They rushed to the aid of all the wounded in battle.
Oh,
so they were
nice.
like, we got to help.
Yes. I love that.
Yes. And now apparently every hallway and room within the college was occupied by an estimated 700 Confederate soldiers.
Wow.
Every room. Henry Watkins from
Confederate soldiers.
Confederate. So
Wow.
what I read at one point was, and I'll get into this, but one of the halls, which I'll get into, actually served both Confederate and Union wounded.
Wow.
Apparently.
Uh-huh.
But most of them say it was really helping out the Confederates.
Yeah. Wow.
Because they kind of just took over.
Right.
Henry Watkins' class of 1864 recorded that from anywhere inside Gettysburg College at any time that the shrieks, prayers, and moans from the wounded of dying could be heard.
Oh, wow.
Now, let me give you a cool description of Pennsylvania Hall.
Okay.
So Pennsylvania Hall was built in 1837 and was the first building of Gettysburg College. I wanted to put a photo of it here. I'll show you later, but
Okay.
It's really pretty. It's stately. It's a very, very large white structure with 4 large white columns in the front. Since it was the main building of the college, it served as the classroom, dormitory. It was known as the quote unquote old dorm, dining area, chapel, library, and when the war broke out there, the main field hospital for the Confederates.
Okay.
And as mentioned, I think there was some Union soldiers in there
Right.
as well. A number of officers, as well as General Lee himself, used the cupola.
Yes. Cupola.
because I didn't know what that is. So I looked it up. It's the small dome-like structure that sits on top of the building, which is crazy. The building, you'll see it. It's like, it looks like the White House kind of almost, but it's smaller, a little small dome on the top. And they used that for a lookout to keep an eye on the battle. So the building acting as the field hospital, though, saw some pretty horrific things.
I'm sure it did.
Oh my gosh. Doctors apparently operated without anesthetic. And instead of taking the time to pull out bullets, they ended up amputating more often than not.
Yeah. Oh, no.
Yeah. So there were rooms where soldiers lay in agony and basically left to die because they couldn't be saved.
Yeah.
And there was blood sprayed all over the walls and floors.
That beautiful white building.
Yeah. Just sprayed with blood. I can't imagine. I can't. I'm just shuddering. Okay. On to the paranormal encounters.
Ooh.
So students and staff members of the college have reported seeing figures of soldiers pacing back and forth in the cupola of Penn Hall. They believe these are the sentries that were either guarding General Lee or the messengers that were going to and fro from the battlefield.
Oh, wow.
So they see them at night, and they see, sometimes I think during the day, but they see people up there and they're not supposed to be. Yeah. On AmericanHauntingsInc.com, they say one student reported that he and his roommate, who lived in a dorm about 50 yards away from Pennsylvania Hall, saw a shadowy figure in the tower over a period of several nights.
Ooh.
On another sighting, a figure was seen to be gesturing wildly to a student below.
Oh, no.
Yeah. When the student called out to him, believing that perhaps someone was trapped in the tower, the figure vanished.
Oh, no.
Campus security was called to investigate, and they couldn't find anyone in the building.
Oh, no. Oh, I know I keep saying, oh, no. But my brain is jumping to maybe that one student was, experiencing some insomnia like us.
Oh, gosh, just seeing things.
It could be like finals week. It could be under a lot of stress, under a lot of pressure.
Yeah.
And he's just seeing somebody like gesture frantically at him.
Probably.
No, I'm sure it was really a soldier, like
I wouldn't
Civil
doubt
War
that.
soldier.
Yeah, that's what.
Yeah, I believe ghosts over the wild hallucinations from an overstressed college student.
Could have been. It could have been both. You never know.
Yeah.
Now, the most well-known haunting that is passed along about Penn Hall is in the 1980s. A couple administrators were leaving for the night, and they entered the elevator from the 4th floor and pushed the 1st floor button to go home.
Okay.
The elevator did not stop at the 1st floor.
Oh, no.
But slowly descended to the basement
Oh,
level.
no.
Yeah. The basement at that time was just a storage area. However, when the doors opened, they saw a gruesome scene. A blood-splattered operating room of 1863.
Oh, no.
Yes, wounded men were lying prone on the floor, and administering to them were doctors and orderlies in bloody clothing.
Oh, no.
Yes. Different websites vary about this next detail. One site claims that all the doctors and soldiers looked at the admin in the elevator, like a horror movie.
Right. Just slowly turn and look up in unison without saying a word.
Exactly.
Oh my gosh,
You've got
Nicole.
that, right? One states that one of the orderlies looked at the admin for help. Now, either way, they smashed on the elevator buttons to leave this horrifying scene. Finally, when they managed to get back to the 1st floor, they found a security guard and traveled back down to the basement. But alas, the basement was just the storage basement again.
Oh, wow.
Now, what's creepy?
That wasn't creepy?
That's creepy.
Okay.
What's creepier?
Yes.
In 2004, the same time travel phenomenon happened to another student.
Oh, wow.
Well, that was admin. This was a student. Mm-hmm. And just like the two admins in the 1980s, it was eerily silent, but definitely the same hospital scene. The student had no idea of the previous event that took place for those two admins.
Because they weren't even alive.
No, exactly. Yeah, they were.
Yeah,
nothing. And after they told their friend about that experience, he found out, or she. I don't know if it was either.
Wow, that's awesome.
Isn't that crazy? So it happened twice.
I want to go just ride that elevator.
I would go like July 3rd.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Right? I would go like in the summer. It's probably going to be empty because school's not happening.
Yeah.
At night. Try to see if you can get in.
Let's do it. Oh,
it's on our bucket list.
It's on our bucket list. Okay.
Now, another haunted building on campus is Stevens Hall, built in 1911. The dormitory was originally used as a prep school for girls who would later enter the college. It is notoriously the most haunted dorm on campus. The most well-known ghostly apparition is known as the quote-unquote Blue Boy.
Blue Boy.
Yes. Now the story goes, one cold wintry night, an abused orphan was found outside by a few of those girls living in Stevens Hall. So they decided to take him in out of pity and out of the cold where he had run away from the orphanage. The house mom or headmistress, either one, was making her usual rounds, checking the girls on each floor. The girls didn't want him found, so they quickly put him on the third window ledge, this third story window ledge.
Poor decision.
No, they didn't know where to put him. There's like an account that said it was like an hour. I don't know how long he was out there.
No.
But after the headmistress left, they went to get him from the window, but he was nowhere to be found. One site said that the girls did see footprints in the snow below, but either way, he had disappeared. So females that stay in that dorm now see the ghostly visage of a blue-faced boy outside the windows in Stevens Hall, or that his face is smushed against the window.
Oh.
Sometimes the words, "Help me," can be seen written backwards on frosted window panes on the third floor.
Oh, no.
Creepy.
Oh my gosh,
Breaks
my
your heart.
is breaking.
Poor Angela.
Oh,
All the
this poor
feels.
little kid.
Right?
He just needed to be rescued and, not too bright girls. Let's put him on the window ledge in the cold.
In the cold, in the winter. Yeah. So
Poor kid.
don't know what happened to him, unfortunately. In 2014, a field hockey player was staying in the dorm because it was preseason and she was the only one in there. One night she claimed to hear footsteps down the hall and above her, but the next day she explored and found no one living there at the time.
Oh, wow.
In Huber Hall, another dorm, students have reported hearing dragging sounds on the floor and waking up to seeing all their possessions thrown onto the ground.
Oh, no.
The last chilling story I found was about a sophomore football player from the Gettysburgian.com.
Okay.
This was in 2014. And
lots of stuff happened in 2014.
Yeah. Creepy.
Okay.
I don't know if they were just reporting that people were doing more research back then. I don't know. Or if that was a really haunted year.
Yeah.
So he said, quote unquote, "My coaches pulled me to their office and asked me how I was feeling in practice the day before. I told them I felt awful. My head was pounding. I couldn't see straight and my legs hurt. What they said next is something that I will never forget. That's because you had a ghost inside you, Danny."
What? He had a ghost inside him.
Now, yes, practice had been filmed that previous day.
Oh, no.
And Thompson is seen running with the football when out of nowhere, a white, misty, circular image appears to fly out of his head and across the screen.
Oh my gosh, I've got chills.
Isn't that creepy?
Oh, wow. And there's
And there's a
documentation
video.
of this. Oh, I want to see it.
I do too. Danny said, "If I hadn't seen the film, I wouldn't have believed it. But I did feel exceptionally weird that day at practice. And if it wasn't a ghost, then I have no clue what it could have been. I mean, it wouldn't be surprising considering the school is built where so many died in the Civil War."
Oh my gosh.
End quote.
Nicole, that was good.
Right?
That was a
Gettysburg.
good one. Oh, wow.
Oh,
I know. Okay, we both have the chills. We got to take like a chill break here.
I can't, but we got to go on because
We got one more.
Like I said.
I'm excited about this next one.
Oh, yeah,
Okay.
she knows about this one because we were researching. But like I said,
Yes.
there are so many haunted colleges and universities that there may be a second round coming.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm excited.
All right. Heidelberg University.
Heidelberg.
She is so
I'm
excited.
so excited.
I love it.
I love Heidelberg.
She's been to Heidelberg.
Just a quick, yes, I studied overseas there.
That is so cool.
My undergrad, I went to Pepperdine. And
Yes.
so they have a house called the Moore House, which is on the same street as the castle ruins. And that
Crazy.
is haunted.
I bet.
So if we have time, I need to talk about that.
I think we'll have time. You share
Okay.
your story for sure.
Those
All
of
right.
you who have lived in Moore House, you know.
Oh, Morehouse. Okay. Now, like I said, so this is our last haunted university. We are going to leave the United States for this one, obviously, and travel to Germany, to Heidelberg.
Heidelberg.
And I like this because we did the Black Forest.
I
That was our first
know, I love
episode.
Heidelberg.
Now, October 19th 1386.
Yes.
This is our oldest.
Yes.
Heidelberg University gave its first lecture, making Heidelberg University the first university in Germany, and now one of the world's oldest surviving universities.
Yes, surviving and thriving.
Yes. The first 3 studies there were theology, jurisprudence, which I didn't know, which is AKA law.
Yeah.
I had to look that one up. And philosophy.
They have a very famous hike called the Philosopher's Way.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh, that's
So
fun.
yeah, you take that hike and it kind of goes at the top of the mountains and along the forest line, and you can look down
Ooh.
into the Neckar Valley, which is where Heidelberg is. And you can
Nice.
see it's beautiful.
I love it.
Yeah.
Oh, I want to do that. Bucket list.
Yeah, bucket list.
The first professors there came from Paris and Prague, and there were some highs and definite lows within the history of this university. Now, a good high. I'm going to give you some lists here. A good high.
Yes.
The first woman was admitted in 1900.
Yay.
Okay. Another good high. 1923, the first woman to receive her professorship.
Hey.
Major down.
Uh-oh.
1933 to 1945, the rise of the National Socialists, aka Nazi rule, took over the university.
Yes.
59 of 214 Heidelberg academics are expelled at this time and disenfranchised for quote unquote racial and political reasons.
Yes. The Morehouse, unfortunately, also plays a part in the Nazi history.
No,
Yeah.
I'm sure it does. There was a sculpture of Athena at the entrance to the university that was inscribed. You're going to read this because I'm terrible. What does that say?
Okay. Dem lebendigen Geist.
Okay. Or to the living spirit. She's my German person. And that was taken down in 1936 and replaced with an oversized eagle and the words,
Dem Deutschen Geist.
there you go,
The
easy.
German spirit.
To the German spirit. Back on the upswing, another big high as of 2021. 57 Nobel Prize winners have been affiliated with the city of Heidelberg and 33 with the university itself.
Hey.
So a lot of smart people coming out of that area, which is good. The campus sits on the, you just said it, Neckar River?
Neckar, yes.
Neckar River, which is the right bank tributary of the Rhine River.
Yes, it is.
And it is separated into 2 parts. The faculties and institutes of humanities and social sciences are in the Old Town campus.
Yes.
The sciences, faculties, and medical school, plus 3 large university hospitals, are located on the new campus in the outskirts of Heidelberg. She's like, yes, I know.
It is all over the city. The university, the city of
basically-
Heidelberg is the
That
university.
is so cool.
Yes, it's everywhere.
I love it. Now back to the dark side of Heidelberg University during the Nazi regime.
Yes.
Or regime. Sorry. Now, even though we have actual statistics of faculty and students being let go and expelled, there are speculations that some of these professors were put on trains bound for the concentration camps and that even 2 were killed by Nazi soldiers. There are no reports of ghost sightings, but there are claims that the chalkboards of their old lecture halls have been reported to self-erase.
Yeah, I've heard that.
Yes, or have mysterious words written on them the following day, all occurring at night when the halls are locked up for the evening.
Yes, I've heard that.
You heard that?
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
In the bars.
Did you see it or no?
No, no.
Okay.
Going out at bars at night and talking to the
I
college
love
kids.
it.
Yes, they tell
They've
you
got
ghost
those.
stories.
I love it. That's what I would be doing. In 1933, the University Square housed one of the many Nazi book burnings that took place during the war.
Yeah.
Now, on the anniversary of that event, students claimed to smell burning leather, wood, books, and smoke while walking through the square.
Yeah, I've heard that
I can
too.
totally see that.
Yeah.
Oh, creepy. That gave me goosebumps. It also reminds me of, I always think to Indiana Jones
Oh, uh-huh.
when he pretends he's the Nazi and they're burning books.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
what it always reminds me of. Now, lastly, the most creepiest haunt ties to Hitler's eugenics movement.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. Now, a quick history lesson if you don't know what that is. Adolf Hitler fully supported the biological improvement of the German people, and Nazi eugenics were really termed, quote unquote, racial hygiene, or in German, Rassenhygiene. Did I do that right?
Yep.
They would either kill people that were identified as, quote unquote, life unworthy of life, which included prisoners, degenerates, and people with congenital cognitive and physical disabilities. And more than 400,000 people were sterilized against their will.
Yeah. They sterilized a lot of women
That
at
is-
Heidelberg University. in the hospital.
This
A
whole
lot of
history
women.
makes me like, I cringe. I can't
It's so
I can't
sad.
get through all this.
It's so sad.
Yeah. Okay. So it is not surprising that the rumor circulating about this university is that many women were forced to be sterilized in the Heidelberg University clinic during the Nazi regime.
Yes.
To this day, evening staff report hearing women weeping, as well as the screams and cries of women when no women patients are nearby.
Yeah.
That really
it's
got
so
me.
upsetting.
So that's all I have for my stories.
Yeah.
So what's your story?
So Morehouse in Heidelberg dates back to, I think it was built around 1900.
Okay.
I think that's right, about 1900. So the Nazis definitely used it. It was also used for CIA as well. So they were spying on what was going on then. Yeah.
Cool.
So it was on the good side.
Yes. Yeah, I get it more.
So when Pepperdine purchased Morehouse, it's a very large house. It's about 3 or 4 stories tall, and it has like a library. It has lots of different bedrooms, and then it has like an eating area and a computer lab.
Nice.
And some classroom space as well.
Okay. So it's a big hall.
It's a big, beautiful, and I
was thinking small, like dorm.
No,
but
it's a big, beautiful mansion.
Cool.
And it's actually protected as a historical monument.
Oh, wow.
Pepperdine did do some expansions to add more dorms. So they made these kind of like tower, we call them the towers.
Nice.
These kind of tower-like structures to add more rooms. You can't really tell they did such a good job expanding the Morehouse, but it's beautiful and it's a wonderful, magical place. And yes, it is absolutely haunted.
Ooh.
So I was there for about 6 weeks. I didn't see any apparitions. I definitely felt them.
Ooh.
And I know people have seen them.
Okay.
And there are in some of the rooms, there are in like kind of these little closet areas. There's one in the boys' side, and we call it the bat cave. And there's one in the girls' side. They call it the cat cave.
Cute.
And they're just these like little creepy extra closet areas that you can go in and I've
like
heard,
walk-in closet size.
it's a walk-in closet, but then it's behind the walk-in closet, so it's another kind of little
like a
cave-like
secret little area.
a secret area.
Oh
And
my
people have like
gosh.
written stuff on the walls
Of
and
course.
stuff, and so I'm sure a lot of students have created a lot of different things while hanging out in the bat cave and the cat cave, but mostly it's typical haunting stuff. You hear footsteps, smells,
Sure.
and you can hear things every once in a while, but I mostly felt presences when I was there. Yeah,
Because you're sensitive.
a little bit. Yeah.
Oh, that's so
but it was.
creepy.
I mean, they were friendly, and I
That's
loved
good.
Morehouse, and it's beautiful and it's very welcoming.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
It's not a malevolent spirit.
No, it's
Okay.
not. No, it's very nice, and there were definitely times where I'd start to walk into a room and I'd be like, nope, that room's not ready yet, and then I would go back and go somewhere else because I would just feel that. No,
Nope.
not right now. And
Nope.
Nope. Yes. And then I, just go to a different room.
Good.
But most of the time it's very like welcoming and,
That's awesome.
yeah, it was a great place. I loved it.
Well,
I
good.
love Heidelberg.
So you had the happy haunts,
yeah.
like a Disney haunt. Well, that's Heidelberg University. That's our haunted university episode.
Yes. And if any of you guys have gone to any of these schools or have additional stories, please email us at theominousstitch@gmail.com.
And if you have went to a different university and have your own paranormal stories,
We want to hear those too.
we would love to hear those.
Okay, Miss Nicole, is it movie time?
It's movie time. Today's movie review is Kristy. You like how her tone is. This was released in 2014.
Hey, that's at where's that? Ohio? No, Gettysburg.
Everywhere.
Gettysburg.
That's like the year. That's weird.
2014 was a big haunt
was a
year.
big haunt year.
Oh,
IMDb gave Kristy 5.8 stars and the synopsis. When a college girl who is alone on campus over the Thanksgiving break is targeted by a group of outcasts, she must conquer her deepest fears to outwit them and fight back. Now, okay, disclaimer. I mentioned at one point that I was going to give all my favorite horror movies for us to watch, but I didn't have a favorite college movie. I wanted to tie this into our college theme.
Right.
Okay? So I started with Urban Legends, and guys, I could not finish that movie. It is the worst. That is like...
it would be better than the one that we watched.
I don't know. No, I
do.
tried watching it and it was terrible. So I said, let's try to find another one. And I found one that I didn't watch before. And it's this movie, Kristy. Both were able to watch it. And yeah, this is not my cup of tea, everybody.
Not my cup of tea either.
No.
But I found some ways to appreciate it.
She was so cute. Texting me.
Oh my
again.
gosh.
So, Angela.
Yes.
I don't know if we want to give any spoilers for this movie.
Oh, let's spoil it.
Okay.
You don't need to see this if you haven't seen it. You can take it off your list.
Now, as we mentioned, this isn't our cup of tea because I'm more of a ghosts, exorcisms,
We
haunted.
like more of the paranormal.
Yes,
side of horror, yeah.
that's my horror. Like In the Mouth of Madness was cool because it was books, right? Books about horror. This is that slasher murder teen, like chasing around,
and not in a funny
not
way.
in a
like
funny
Cabin in the
way.
Woods.
No, this was. I hate these movies. I am not a fan of these guys. I'm sorry.
It took itself way too seriously.
It did.
If it would have had fun with itself and with its genre,
Sure.
I would have enjoyed it. So I
No.
found a way to have fun with
Thanks. Good.
it. And
I didn't.
so that I would watch the whole thing.
Good job.
Because
You wanted to turn it off.
I
didn't
wanted
you?
to turn it off from the opening credits. When the opening credits were over, I wanted to turn it off. I'm like, nope, this is not
Nope.
for me. Don't want to watch it. I think I texted you at one point. I was watching this through my hands
Yes, you were.
because I just didn't want to. I don't like the subject matter.
I
So-
don't either. But you know why I liked the start of this movie? What caught my eye?
What?
The actress Haley Green. She's the main character.
She looks-
Sorry, Haley Bennett. I'm
Haley
sorry, I
Bennett.
mixed Ashley Green and Haley
At
Bennett.
first, I thought it was a young Jennifer Lawrence because she sort of looks like
similar.
her. Yeah.
No, I recognized her because she was in the Magnificent Seven and The Girl on the Train. Those two movies were good.
Oh.
That's where I recognized her from.
Okay.
And so I was like, oh, she's a great actress. This is going to be fun.
She did well.
She did okay for what she was given for
Yeah.
this type of movie. This like, I'm going to chase you around a unbelievable scenario
Yeah.
of a abandoned college where people leave their posts. I didn't like that at all.
No, that was dumb.
was so
but,
stupid.
Okay. So, all right.
Okay.
Let's do positives because we're giving a lot of
I'm
negatives.
sorry. Go ahead.
No, I know. I'm trying because you're going to be the negative one this time around and I'm going to try to be
I
the
totally
positive
am.
one.
I'm sorry, everybody.
Role reversal, people. This is
Very
crazy.
much.
Even though we both didn't like it, I appreciate that it followed its tropes and its genre.
Okay.
And you could see it connected its dots. It gave reasons for things like when she couldn't use her phone because they had hacked into her phone and taken it over, so she couldn't call out on her cell phone.
Okay.
I don't know how they were that good of hackers.
I'll keep
They
giving me
also
your
cut
pros.
all of the phone lines and the power lines. They were able to disable the internet because it's 2014. All of these things are available to her.
Right.
Somehow the killers were able to disable and
Oh,
hack
somehow.
into everything.
And there's only 4 of them.
Yes. They we'll get into that. And then they were able to lure the dumb security guard out of his
He's
post.
a security guard.
He has the control point to the dorm.
Yes.
And the reason why he has that one central point, that is the only way to go in and out of the building. So why he decided he needed to
leave
get
his
up
post.
and go outside
To check what was
and
going
open
on.
the door
And
to
not lock
protect
the door.
one person that was in the dorm made no sense to me. But that's another theme. A lot of the men, and I'm going to use quotation marks here because they were all dudes
men. They were.
who were trying to save her. I think her name was Juliet, or no, it wasn't Juliet. It was Justine. They were trying to save Justine. Were just dumb. They were dumb.
They were really dumb.
They wouldn't believe her or trust her,
Nope.
first of all, which drives me nuts.
Yep.
Second of all, they would rush headlong into the danger. And when they would see the danger, they'd be like, what?
Oh, no.
Huh? And
Not
die.
prepared.
And they would just die.
Yep.
And they were so dumb. And I'm like, stop running to these
And then the
people.
maintenance guy is the stoner that lives on the side.
Yes.
Oh, I'm sorry. You do all the pros first. I'm really frustrated with this movie.
I'm frustrated with him. Yeah, because that was another big one. Because she ran to him. She's like, "Where's your phone?" He's like, "I don't know.
I'm stoned."
And then he disappears to get his shotgun.
It's 2014.
Like,
you would know where your phone is.
In 2014, that phone is glued to your hand.
Oh, totally. When you're stoned, that's probably the best thing to have when you're just searching on your phone, right? Oh my God. Okay.
Oh my gosh. And then they let the dog go, and the dog got
poor doggy.
killed. I was so mad at that.
Yes, hashtag dog does die.
Yeah, sorry. So another reason to not watch the movie because the dog dies.
That's the pointless death of the dog.
So all of the people that are coming to, quote unquote, coming to her rescue, they all die because they're dumb.
They're dumb.
There are 4 people that are trying to kill her. And these 4 people do the classic trope of the just walking very slowly to catch up to her while she's running, and suddenly they're there right next to her.
They know every campus layout. They know where she is.
They know where she is.
They know how to enter these supposedly. Oh, she unlocks some room, like the buildings, but
doesn't lock behind her. So they can get into the buildings even though she's locked.
One point she's on the roof.
Yeah.
And they're like on the roof right behind her. I'm like, you weren't anywhere near her.
There's no way they could have gotten up to
without
that
running
that fast. And they're just walking. They're doing the classic
slow walk.
The classic bad guy thing where they slowly walk behind her and then suddenly they're right next to her.
I was
even
so
though she's
irritated
running like a
by
mad
this.
woman.
Yeah.
And then they do a lot of good callbacks. So when they're doing the montage, and I texted her, I'm like, oh, look, she's dancing. Ha, ha, ha. But they do the montage of her going through her daily life at school, and she's in a science class, and she's learning about how to make fire from water and a chemical compound. And then they also show her swimming in the pool. She's a really good swimmer.
And all this is coming back at some point.
Yeah, so they do all those callbacks when she's able to turn the tides on the people that are hunting her. What drove me insane, I don't like movies that have like some kind of ritualistic or religious reason for doing the killing and the murders.
Yep.
And that's what this is. There's a ritual that these killers are following, and it's happening all across the country, where they kill a quote unquote Kristy, which is a pure woman or girl who has everything. She has beautiful hair, a beautiful car, and she has a perfect life, so she must die. And that's the whole reason she must die. And so she is the quote unquote sacrificial virgin, right? She's the virgin.
And it's like the dark web. And so
the stoner / fool died.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
The athlete / security guard.
Okay.
That's what I'm going with.
Oh, she's got her formula.
Died.
Okay.
Right? So we're following the... So this is how I made it okay. Because I'm like, oh, it's Cabin in the Woods.
Yeah.
Following the tropes. And so it made me...
It makes more
liken
sense.
it to that. So it made more fun. Her boyfriend, who is the soft philosopher, love of her life, died.
That's true. Okay.
They didn't have a slutty one.
Well, I guess she's the one.
They did kill another person.
The girl at the end, the main mean girl. I'd say she was the
slutty one. It's usually the slutty one that has to go first. So it could have been, we don't know about the guy at the guard gate, but we can say
there you go.
he's the slutty one.
Yeah. He's the loose one.
Yeah. And so she played the role of the sacrificial virgin.
I like
because
that.
She's
That's a
the
good theory.
Kristy that they're going after.
Right. And she has to live.
Yeah. So I'm like, oh, okay. That made me like Cabin in the Woods more, because I'm like, oh, it's following the tropes.
Job, Cabin in the Woods.
But I started making fun of the movie while I was texting Nicole. I was like, oh, look what's going to happen next. Good luck, because it's absolutely predictable.
Yeah.
What's going to happen. And she's the only one that can save herself. And so like the virgin in Cabin in the Woods, she starts turning everything around.
Yep.
And she's able to put an end to
and that makes me feel better. That's the only, I guess, the best part of this movie. This movie was terrible, everybody. Just those tropes, but just over. Yeah. And the fact that this is this big dark web, and they're able. Okay. My biggest thing, I was telling her, they're four teenagers. Like, they're not very old, kids, right? How are they able to hack every single thing and get into everywhere and like smart enough to do all this and
all the planning,
yeah,
all the sneaking,
and
they're like ninjas.
Right. And they were like, they picked her off because she was in the wrong place at the wrong time. So this was all really quick and sudden.
Yeah. They were at the gas station.
Yes.
So I don't know how they would have picked her at the gas station and known that she was.
They followed her.
Well, but she was the only person staying behind on campus.
They would have probably
They would have had
it.
to scout her, especially with their knowledge of the school.
No, that's what I'm saying. I don't think they've ever been there. So this is like them being ninjas.
Yeah, it makes no sense. They would have had to have been following her for a while and scouting her.
And known that she was alone.
Yeah.
Do you think they were going to go attack her at a college when there's a bunch of people there?
No.
Exactly.
No, they were waiting for her to be alone.
And then they just had that opportunity. This is such a BS movie. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
It's
you have to suspend your belief on a lot of levels to enjoy the movie,
I guess.
Yeah.
But like I said, so this was the reason why we picked it. I picked it. Duh.
Because she's never seen it.
I've never seen it, and it was a college campus movie. So
now, have you ever? We were talking about this last night.
Yeah.
To totally change the subject before we do our ratings. Have you ever stayed on campus during?
So no, I've
holiday?
never stayed over at a holiday. I've lived in the dorms only my freshman year, and I went home. But after that, I lived in a house with other people. And my college campus was only an hour and a half away from my old home. So it's not like I couldn't go home at any time, and I had my car.
Yeah.
So I never stayed for a long period of time on a campus alone. And plus my campus is huge.
Yeah.
So it's not like it would be alone in this like this situation.
Right. So I did my undergrad at Pepperdine, and I'm from Texas. So that's quite a long journey.
That's a long, yes.
And I always stayed on campus. I only went home for summer or for Christmas break, just the long extended breaks where the campus was completely shut down. But if we had like a short holiday, like Thanksgiving or spring break,
you'd stay,
or any kind of break. Yeah, I always stayed on campus, but a lot of people did. It was never abandoned.
Empty.
And Pepperdine was a
private university.
It's a private university, and it's not that big.
No,
and a lot of people would stay.
Right.
It wasn't like she was the only person at this big university.
Oh, and like the cards played out themselves. Like her best friend was supposed to stay with her, and then she's rich. She's like her dad's like a congressman or something.
Yeah.
And like, oh, we want to go to Aspen.
Yeah.
It's like, oh my God.
And then she kept turning everybody down.
Yeah.
Like, her boyfriend was like, come stay with me.
Yeah. She's
no.
like, no. Stay.
And then even she called him. She's like, I had something scary happen tonight. He's like, I will be there in 2 hours. And she's like, no.
And then he comes.
And he comes and dies.
Did.
Because he's like, what? Oh, it was so dumb.
And then and then the fact that she takes everybody down, and then the news is like reporting on it, and she's like, she gave the information of the website, and all these people were getting taken down. I was like, this is stupid.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. This is reaching for straws on a crazy plot. So that just made me really upset.
Yeah. If you're in the mood for a movie that's going to piss you off, watch Kristy.
Why? I don't know why you'd want that. But there you go. We've got that option for you.
So what is your rating on this?
I give it a 1.
A 1.
It's terrible. 1 out of 10 stitches.
Yeah,
1 being I can watch it because I could go down to 0, guys, but I gave it a 1 if I had to watch a movie, and I had to watch this with somebody. Sure, I'll do it, but 1. What about you, Angela?
I don't think I'm going to give it a negative 25 like I did the other one.
Good.
But 1.
Okay.
It was fine.
We're the same.
It was okay.
1 out of 10.
Like after I got over the let's sacrifice
women.
You were
really
I was
upset
mad about the
that.
women thing. Yeah. And
1.
And yeah. So 1. Because
Hey.
I was like, nah, it's predictable. We're
on the same page on this one.
It's okay. And then we see the tropes play out, and if you look at it on that level, you're like, okay, cool,
that
you
helps.
did your job, movie.
Sure.
You're following the classic lines of a slasher.
I like that.
Cool.
Good job, Angela.
But if it would have had the class, I'm gonna say class, to make fun of itself and point out that yes, I'm
like Cabin in the Woods.
Yes, I would have liked it, because I need some levity with my slasher movies.
You got it. All right. Well, that was a fun episode.
Yeah. What did we learn today, Nicole?
Oh, good. What did we learn? Never to watch this movie. No.
Don't watch Kristy.
No, the lesson is be aware of your campus and your history, I think, because you never know.
You never know when
there's some
something's gonna haunt you.
Yeah, residual energy there.
Yeah.
Which is pretty cool. I actually, just as a side note, I tried to look up my alma mater.
Yes.
Couldn't find anything, unfortunately. I mean, there was like, a couple Reddit things of the University of Washington.
Yeah.
But maybe I should deep dive into I am actually. There's a University of Massachusetts I think we might get into. And some East Coast, because they're old. That's pretty old over there. But yeah, just be aware of your surroundings, of your history.
Yeah.
What do you think you learned?
What I learned today is don't build your college campus on an insane asylum.
That's a good lesson.
Those energies don't mash well.
They don't want to leave. You know what, though? And I did learn a lot about Gettysburg, which made me feel good.
Yeah.
Well, not feel good, but
learning our history.
Yeah. Like I learned this back in high school, but things
Who
don't
remembers
stick.
things from high school?
Oh my gosh. It's over 20 years ago. I don't remember. But just to have to do my own research, but then tie it to paranormal.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
That's cool.
So, all right, Stitchers, thanks so much for joining us today.
Please visit all of our socials.
Yes.
Watch our little TikToks that we're starting to put out there.
We're trying to get a little better about
Nicole's our little social maven.
Oh, man. I'm not even that great at it.
Oh, but I'm so much worse at it.
We're trying.
Oh, my gosh. Don't forget to email us at theominousstitch@gmail.com.
We want to
hear your stories. We want to hear from you. We want to connect with you guys.
Please. And if you want to take a peek at your YouTube, we have our demonstrations.
Those are very fun.
Yeah, our hands.
Look at our hands. We don't know what to do with our hands.
All right, with that, see you, Stitchers.
See you, Stitchers.